I think we have a very good chance at this. I've never lost a subpoena battle. I've been chairman of that committee for a year and a half. This is the most challenging subpoena I've ever issued. But what makes this subpoena different is that the Democrats voted with Republicans. This is a bipartisan, congressionally approved subpoena. And I think that will hold a lot of weight in court. And you're absolutely right. He's going to have the best lawyers in America fighting us tooth and toenail on this. But the fact that this was voted on by Republicans and Democrats, because we're hearing from our constituents, everybody in America wants to know what went on at Epstein Island. And we've all heard reports that Bill Clinton was a frequent visitor there. So he's a prime suspect to be deposed by the House Oversight Committee. So hopefully we'll win that court battle with that subpoena and see President Clinton in October.
Shocking new revelations about Prince Andrew have been making headlines around the world ahead of the release of Andrew Loney's new book entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, which dives into Prince Andrew's relationship with women, his mysterious finances, and his relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Author Andrew Loney joins us now. Andrew, thank you for your time. This is the first in-depth look at Andrew and Fergie's unusual relationship. You've spoken to hundreds of people, including friends, former staff members, former colleagues of Prince Andrew, and many people have never spoken before. But you also had some freedom of information requests denied by the British government. That must have made things challenging for you.
Yes, I mean, I think there have been a lot of obstacles placed in front of me. The York family refused to cooperate with me. They actually told people not to talk to me. The British Foreign Office told ambassadors not to talk to me. And we found, as I say, with my research, that literally hundreds of FOI requests for the papers relating to Andrew's time as a special trade envoy between 2001 and 2011, when he was paid for by the taxpayer, are still closed. And these papers should actually be within the National Archives anyway. So yes, and there's been some pushback from establishment figures here in Britain against the book. But I stand by it. It's 4 years research, as you say, several hundred people who've never spoken before talking. And I think they're talking, these senior diplomats and, for example, naval officers, because they were shocked by the brazenness of the way this couple have leveraged their royal position in order for their own personal financial gain. and also have not told the truth about the extent of their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Both of them had close relationships. There were 18 phone numbers for Sarah Ferguson, 16 for Andrew in Epstein's Black Book. And their relationship began about a decade before they claimed it did. And it continued long after they claimed to have cut off all ties. So yes, it's an extraordinary revelations in the book.
And I absolutely want to dive into the relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but how would you describe Prince Andrew and Fergie's relationship? It's quite unusual that they lived together despite divorcing decades ago.
Yes, I mean, people are surprised by the relationship. They describe themselves as the happiest divorced couple in the world. They married in 86, separated in 92, and divorced in 96. But actually, what they have had, I think, is an open relationship. That you're right, they do live together in a 30-room mansion, so they don't have to sort of tiptoe past each other too much. But they have stuck together. He supported her when she went through all sorts of scandals of her own, and now she's supporting him. But really, she sticks in there because her whole raison d'etre is to be part of the royal family. So she has to be there. And I think he feels guilty for the way he treated her, or at least she makes him feel guilty. And so he sticks in there for her now. But, you know, his mother paid a lot of her debts, and those debts, of course, were taken over by Epstein, who paid many more of them.
Well, let's talk about those finances, because the book dives into Prince Andrew's finances and allegations of corruption. Can you talk to us about what you discovered?
Yes, I mean, he was given this trade role on behalf of the British government to promote British trade. And what seems to be happening was that he used it to promote his own business activities or those of his friends. So, for example, he would shoehorn meetings for accompany people like Epstein or his business partners, David and Jonathan Rowland, for them to do business. He was, for example, promoting a Greek water firm in Kazakhstan, which had nothing to do with British interests, and creaming off a commission of £3.85 million. There have been several court cases which reveal that he was paid huge sums of money, which he's not able to explain, and money also that was paid to his wife and to one of his daughters. So this seems to be a family business. And there was no proper scrutiny of him. He was no one quite knew what he was doing. The Foreign Office sent him places, but the diplomats found that actually he was counterproductive. He actually antagonized people rather than actually helping support trade. And then after he was basically sacked, he carried on with what was ostensibly a charity, Pitch at the Palace, but in which he set up a side company where he was taking a 2% commission on all the investment that was put into this charity. So I think there are a lot of questions for him to answer. MPs 20 years ago were asking our National Crime Agency to investigate him. Nothing was done. And I think there is a case for them to look at his situation again.
On Jeffrey Epstein, there are suggestions in the book that Epstein played Prince Andrew, that the prince was a useful idiot who gave him access to political leaders and business opportunities. Can you expand on that for us?
Yes, I mean, Andrew was a very useful piece of respectability for Epstein. He gave him status and he gave him quite useful contacts, clearly through his role as a trade envoy. And he entertained Epstein, for example, at Sandringham, at Balmoral, at Windsor Castle, Buckingham Palace. I mean, there's a big party where he invited Epstein and Harvey Weinstein as well. And for Andrew, Epstein provided, again, some useful contacts, someone who was busy paying off debts for the couple, and of course, who also provided women for Andrew. We have the famous case of Virginia Giuffre, but there were other women who were supplied to Andrew.
And the book also details other relationships that Prince Andrew had with women. There are suggestions that Prince Andrew put himself in compromising situations. You know, his reputation couldn't get much worse, but how damaging do you think some of these details that you've written about will actually be to him?
I think very damaging, and very damaging to the family and indeed to the monarchy, because the monarchy was aware of what was going on, and in fact, I would argue colluded with him. His mother protected him, the Queen. He was, when there were complaints to Buckingham Palace, from diplomats, they were ignored. She sort of entertained a lot of these dictators from Central Asia that he was doing business with, who were despots, I mean, who didn't believe in human rights. So I think, it is damaging, and it shows that there's not sufficient transparency about royal finances and actually about royal activity, full stop. I mean, we're prepared to support our royal family, but not if they're on the take for themselves. So I think they need to look very carefully, cut him loose, but also look very carefully at, for example, how they shape the narrative, because what was clear is they were trying to shut down this story. There's a famous episode with a journalist from ABC television in the States who had the Jeffrey and Andrew story years ago, and the palace threatened to cut off all contact with ABC, not allow them any interviews if they pursued this investigation. And that can't be right. Nobody is above the law, including the members of the royal family.